So this is Spotlight on Surrey. Today's topic, decarbonisation and the green economy. Well, good afternoon and welcome to this, the third in a series of Spotlight on Surrey events, led by Surrey County Council and in partnership with Business South. Today's event will focus on decarbonisation and the green economy and the opportunities for business. Surrey, of course, is the most wooded county with more than its share of natural beauty and is, of course, strongly positioned to take advantage of this and to ensure the next generation are able to enjoy a clean and healthy world.
Committing to act, to supporting those that do act, to championing the cause, to actually acting and doing things that will positively impact climate change and CO2 reduction. And that means in micro behaviours every day, in our decisions to throw something in the black bin or the green bin, in our decision to take the car or take the bike, in our decision to do whatever we do that will impact upon climate change, to install solar panels to a larger scale or not.
And it's a very appropriate moment to talk about the transport issues because the government today published its Sustainable Transport Plan and has thrown down some challenges for all of us, some of which we knew about: the plan to start phasing out petrol and diesel new cars from 2030 and then to remove the hybrids as well from 2035. That is going to change the way that we do things in Surrey. Whilst it's certainly the case that in many places people will get on their bikes and ride into town instead, there's more and more cycle lanes around the county, and that is a good thing. The reality, this is a county that depends on two modes of transport in particular. The train, which is already electrified in our area and which will increasingly transfer to renewable electricity as we build up an enormous capability in this country. But people in Surrey aren't going to give up their cars, but their cars are going to have to change, and the way they drive them, the way they power them is going to have to change.
I firmly believe that Surrey can and will play a increasingly critical role in establishing a low carbon economy, both regionally and showing the way nationally.
Local will meet a global challenge, and of course, every little helps.
I remember going to a sustainability conference just a few years ago, and whenever I said to people I spoke to there that I worked on biodiversity, people would ask what link that had to sustainability, which at that time was really only being talked about in terms of climate and CO2. And in just the last few years, we've seen a really radical change, and biodiversity has shot up the agenda.
With climate change, it impacts on every single one of our residents in myriad ways. That's 1.2 million people who need us to play our part in taking action and showing leadership. And that's why we at the County Council are taking it so seriously, with the intention to interweave it into every level of our work.
Since 1990, we have really significantly moved large parts of our manufacturing base outside of the country. And with it, we have moved really substantial amounts of our emissions. So whereas in 1990, only 14% of the emissions that we consume were produced overseas, that's about a seventh. Back in 2016, most recently, that was up to 46%, and we're quite likely passing the 50% halfway threshold.
We work very closely. We've been asked to talk about decarbonising business, why, when and how. We work very closely with a large number of businesses ourselves to help them do this, from Tesco to HSBC. So we've got a lot of experience on how to do it. As ever, the transition is going to be a real challenge, but it's also a huge opportunity.
So finally, really for me, it's just to finally thank all our speakers for their time at today's Spotlight on Surrey event. And of course, many thanks to everyone joining on Zoom. And we look forward to seeing you at future events coming up in the year ahead.